Welcome, brothers. I'm the Hermit, and it seems the rule change came a bit earlier, because our commander today is none other than Esika's Chariot. For 3 generic and a green, we get a legendary vehicle 4/4 with, when Esika's Chariot enters, create 2/2 green cat creature tokens. Whenever Esika's Chariot attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. And it has an ability to crew for power. Now what we want to do with Esika's Chariot is we're gonna be making big tokens and we're gonna be copying them that way so that we get the most value of our cards. So for instance, we're playing Renan 7. It's a Planeswalker Ren, and the -3 allows us to create a 3/4 creature token with reach, and this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. So we play Esika's Chariot, we follow up with Ren, make a 3/4 that might be a 4/4/5/5. We crew Esika's Chariot with it, and then we get to copy it. So Renan 7 essentially became 2 3/4 that can grow bigger with the lands we have. We also have Overlord of the Hauntwoods if we want to copy Everywhere tokens, invoke the Ancient. We get 2 4/5 spirit tokens. Now, one thing that happens with tokens with counters on them, if the token gets the counter when it enters or at any point after, then when we create the copy, we don't get the counters. So for instance, invoke the Ancient can put Vigilance, Reach, or a Tramp counter on it, we wouldn't get it. But also this means that if we were to play cards that make a 0/0 token and put counters on them, then when we copy with the Esika's Chariot, we only get the 0/0 and we get no tokens, so it would die right away. We are also playing Mouth to Feed. We can pay 3 mana to make a 3/3 hippo, and later in the game we can pay 4 to draw a card for each creature with power 3 or greater we control. We have Growth Triplets for 3 generic and triple green. We get a 3/3 Trampler, but when it enters, if it isn't a token, create 2 tokens that are copies of it. And when any of our Growth Triplets die, then we get to put a number of counters equal to its power on each other creature with the same name. So if we were to make copies with Esika's Chariot, then we will have even more and more triplets that would get bigger whenever one of them dies. We have Nexus of Becoming for 6 mana. It's an artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, draw a card. Then you may exile an artifact or a creature from your hand. If you do, create a token that's a copy of the exiled card. Except it's a 3/3 golem artifact creature in addition to its other types. So we want just to make one of those tokens. Now that cannot crew the Esika's Chariot, but we get to copy it over and over again. And we get it for free essentially. Unless you count the 6 mana for the Nexus. We also have Bulwark Tyrant. When it enters or a creature with power 4 or greatest we control enters, we gain 3 life and draw a card. Then when it dies, if it's not a token, we make a token copy of it. So we obviously want it to die. We get the copy, and then we copy it further with the Esika's Chariot. Similar to Ren, we have Nissa Ascended Animist, but not only does she create XX, where X is Nissa's loyalty, but also she can destroy artifact on enchantment, or eventually we get an overrun effect with +1/+1 for each forest you control, as well as trample. For even more Cadro, we have Risk Cards Expertise, Disciple of Regalis, even Audience with Drostani. We get a 0/1 plant creature token, but then we draw cards equal to the number of differently named creature tokens we control. So that's a little bit of a payoff for having such a diverse selection of creature tokens. Another artifact / enchantment hate is Pest Infestation. We get to pay double X, but we get to destroy up to X artifacts and other enchantments, and we get to create twice X 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens that gain a life when they die. Similarly, we have Flaxen Intruder. We can get a 1/2 that when it deals combat damage, destroys, sacrifice itself, and we get to destroy an artifact or enchantment, or we can pay 7 mana to create 3 2/2 bears. Another synergy with Esika's Chariot is Eternalize. Take for instance Fanatic of Runas. We can pay 2, we get a creature that ramps for 1 mana, or for 4 mana if we control a creature with power 4 or greater. So Esika's Chariot turns it on, but also if the Fanatic of Runas were to die, then we can pay 4 mana to Eternalize it, which means we exile it from the graveyard, and we get a 4/4 copy of it. Now the copy is obviously a token, so we're gonna be able to not only crew Esika's Chariot, but also make copies of it that ramps further and further. So we have also Resilient Kenra and Timeless Witness for Eternalize. The Kenra makes a creature bigger, and Timeless Witness just returns a card from the yard to our hand. Spring Hardened Doko, when we bestow it, then whenever a land comes into play, we get to pay 2, and if we do, we get a token copy of the permanent it's enchanting. Otherwise, we just get a 1/1 insect. Not as juicy, but we can also copy those with Esika's Chariot. I'm also playing Rune of Might. We are gonna try to always put this on Esika's Chariot, that way it becomes a 5/5 with trample, and because Rune of Might enchants permanent, then the aura stays on and it only gives the boost when it's a creature. We have Tumbleweed Rising, makes an XX elemental where X is the greatest power among creatures we control. Some similar to that from Thunder Junction, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Then we get Dance of the Tumbleweeds. We can either ramp, or we can pay 3 to create a green X, where X is the number of lands we control. A little bit of more colorless action. We have Golden Guardian as well as Karn. Golden Guardian is gonna transform into a land that is gonna constantly make 4/4 golems, or maybe just the one, and we copy it with the Chariot. And Karn is gonna make 0/0 with which get power and toughness for each artifact we control. So that's pretty much the deck. Peregrine Took and Quina allow us to make food and frogs whenever we create a token. You can defend the temple, makes tokens that tap for mana, and we have interaction, hard hitting question, so we can punch something. Mask Vandal as another way to exile artifacts, and ramp like Rootweight Moose, Scrap Gorger, Glimpse the Core, Elysian Caretit, and the artifact ramp, so that we have a little bit of power and toughness with the construct. So now let's head into the queue and see how effective vehicle commanders are. Arisha, who laughs at fate. And we draw. Overlord is our only token maker, at least other than the Chariot. So we can curve Arcane Signet. Oh, and we have Flaxen Intruder. Maybe we play that, maybe not. We Each creature you control with a counter has menace. Okay. An opponent plays Alesha with our Chariot. Demon's Disciple. So in response, we're gonna accrue, and we're gonna sacrifice a cat token. If opponent chooses to attack, then they run into the Chariot. Oh, it also has menace because of the counter, right? Okay, so here, I guess we have to go on the offensive then.
Reapers heed the trees. They prepare for war.
And our three folk are gonna become bigger and bigger each turn, so opponent needs to think carefully about their game plan. Judith, okay. They're being too aggro, and yeah, Judith is gonna help them deal lethal, I think. So we need a way to either remove Judith, remove Alesha. Let's play the moose, the intruder. And I guess I could have played the medallion first. So here, if they attack with Alesha, we don't mind. We're gonna double block with the three folk. They get to kill one on first strike, but the other one kills Alesha. Fear of missing out, discarding. They can get up to, well, they might think they can get up to a 5/6 power creature. They toss Warren Soul Trader. Okay, let's see if they are waiting us. If they are, then they win. But it seems we get the trade. Okay, so opponent didn't have a plan. Maybe they were bluffing. In the meantime, we get Overlord. And I guess we attack. We crew with... oh, we need 4 power, so... with the Golem and with the Salvager. Okay, opponent concedes. We're gonna keep making 3 folk, and they're gonna be getting bigger and bigger with the Overlord. as well as the Salvager. So yeah, good games. Seems like that bluff really didn't pay off. Okay. And what else I don't like, and maybe they're gonna ramp some more, so they get Sapsonen next turn. Yep, explore. That's so yeah, that's why Land Overall Lips is one of the better cards in the format. Unless you're wanting to get worse matchups, you don't play it, but otherwise, yeah, it's a really good one. Fight Ringing, that's gonna put a counter, get them a free card. So what's the play here? Chariot into triplets. Okay. Let's see if that's enough. I mean, unfortunately, Sapson has trample. But maybe we get enough triplets that we can go all the way to the moon. And here maybe opponent puts the counter of Sapsonen so that they get their card. And that makes it so that it cannot block Simon. So let's see if we can get our plan and if it's good enough. Maybe they have a counter spell. Sorry, a spell that puts a counter on a creature in response, which means they get to block with Sapsonen. But now we have 4 triplets. And yeah, Simon doubles the counters, so we might be in for a beating here. Okay, they cannot activate Simon this turn, or maybe they can. Yeah, they haven't played their land. They needed to play, or I guess they needed to get blue mana. None of you have 4 power, so I guess this is very green first. Salvager. Guardian Idol. Let's cash in our Chariot for another triplet. Oof, opponent has 8 devotion to green. So yeah, if they don't win here, okay, they transform boring clicks. See what they get. Lomra, loot, and of course they play extra turns. Now the sad part about these triplets is we need to kill one, then another, and if we use them as chump blockers, all of them, then we don't get to double the power and toughness. Cyclonic Rift, okay. Good game, Sap. Good game. Orbal or Form. And this might be a copy the cat tokens type of run. Best infestation, okay. We could have used that in the last couple of turns, sorry, couple of games. Okay, opponent plays miscast. And we just ramp. Okay, so Larsenit is gonna take the Fister. And offspring tokens, another type of tokens we can copy. Tome of the Infinite from opponent. We need double X, which comes to 5 mana. Okay, opponent concedes, they lose their board, and we have the Chariot attacking. So, good games. We do have Troublemaker Roof, and our opponent is playing our all artifact decks in Guidelight, Medicant Core. They start with a flyer, so they're gonna get to full speed in a few turns. So yeah, this is gonna be 2, and then they're gonna get to 4 in turn 4. I presume. Yeah, there's not a way to speed up other than hitting us. So by turn 5, they are gonna have the copy ability, unless we find a way to stop it. Or maybe, no, actually it's by turn 4, but they would only have mana to copy a 3-cost artifact, which they might, and it might be good enough. Let's see. Gamma the Shaper, whenever it attacks, you get a Temper Steel. And this is into your hand, so at least it's not into play. But yeah, I think that card is not good enough in most cases. Because you have to pay the mana, so maybe if it was a little bit more expensive and you got it for free, I would try it. But so far I've not been convinced by it. Okay, simulacrum synthesizer. Yep, that's good enough. So let's concede. I don't think we can get through this. They're gonna grow bigger and bigger with every subsequent artifact. And yeah, see, they start as 6/6. So, and we cannot fly, so we don't have the evasion against them. Good games. It's Nerdy Devious Diver. This is a good one, or at least one that I like. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard or activate an ability of a card in your graveyard, you draw a card and put a counter on Nerdy. But also, whenever she becomes tapped, target player mills cards equal to its power. So you mill yourself early so that you get like these unearthed abilities or even flashback, anything that casts from your yard, and then once Nerdy becomes big enough, you can even try to go for a mill on your opponent. All in all, I think it's fun. It's a fun one, so maybe we make one in a couple of weeks. Or maybe it's soon, before Edge of Eternities. Okay, so you see, they get a 3/3. Okay, they attack with Nardip. They mill themselves. And we're gonna double block. Okay, slip the back. And they're gonna sacrifice their courier. I mean, this is not the worst slip out the back, they essentially got it for free because they drew a card with their commander. So here we play File of Galadriel, Iron Games. Make another card. So they're gonna be drawing another card from Nerdy. Maybe Witch Unblock. Ooh, Disturb and Flashback. Really good cards. Well, really good with Nerdy, I mean. And they have 5 mana, so they can even place a Fire Medallion and do both. But I think they should, because they would draw. Well, maybe they don't mind discarding 2 hand size. I know I wouldn't. And that's a 5/5 now, so we play Skullport Nexus. And we destroy Sapphire Medallion. We can only pay for X1, but if we paid for X equals 2, we don't mind, we just have one target for the destruction. And we still get the tokens. So remember to set a stop in case they kill our, or rather bounce the cat token. Then we need to activate the crew ability on Esika's Chariot so we get a card from the Iron Games. Okay, I'm no longer impressed with our opponent. Yeah. So this is their last extra turn, maybe. Maybe they draw another one. So yeah, I think some of the weights of stuff like extra turns and even mana drain should maybe bump you a bracket outright just by themselves, but I don't know. Okay, so that's a house melt on that token, so and witness protection of on another, so we can no longer do the chariot thing. But at least we get to empty our hand. I guess we could have activated. Okay, so opponent attacks. Let's use Skullport Nexus. We get an 8/8. They're gonna make their 8/8. And yeah, we're gonna win the Olympics. Get another card. And Harmonize. I don't usually play it, but card drawing green is somewhat conditional, so we cannot afford to play the ones that give us the ones that we get card draw from casting creatures or for getting non-token creatures. That's a mana drain. Again, opponent. I feel a little let down with you. Okay, well, we should pass here. Attack with the 8/8. But yeah, they're low on lands, or sorry, on cards, they only have 2. But I guess they can get another one. Yeah, they can even put the Mimicry on our Golem. And maybe they should Scry first, that way they make sure they throw some gas. And yeah, okay, they concede. Yeah, see, like, I always say that if you play extra turns, you need something better than just chaining them. You need more of a payoff, more of a board presence. So if you have activated abilities, upkeep triggers, and step triggers, planeswalkers, then you cannot do something with temporal manipulation. And obviously in those cases I just insta concede. I don't stick it out, but I stuck this one out because they didn't have much. So in the end, the extra turns didn't help them win. So good games, Nerdy. Maybe we'll play you soon. Yuna, Hope of Spira. Let's see if we can get the Tender Guide for the Offspring cost. And that's gonna give us something to copy. Okay, see this. Kinda lucky opponent, not gonna lie. With high rolls like that, who needs to be on the play? So here we should get Overlord, and then with the Rising, we're gonna get a 6/6, and that's gonna be what we want to copy from then on. For now, it's just everywhere. And since we're not gonna beating them in the card advantage game, we should beat them at the power and ramp game. Seal from existence, and that's gonna take the Chariot to the command zone. Here we play Toski, that's everyone. That's 2 cards. So we go even further beyond on ramp. An opponent gets Yukai Naturalist, so they can reanimate with Yuna. Or Elspeth conquers it to take Toski. Okay. That's not a Wrath setup, then maybe I am not the Hermit. Let's get Wrestling Kenra then. Yeah. Maybe we can get it back. Eternalize, and that's gonna be lethal from the Chariot, I think. Vanquish the Horde. Ooh, okay. I was expecting to see them pay 4 mana at least. But I guess this works. This is gonna be lethal as well. No, because we needed to. Yeah, we needed. Okay. So now it is lethal. Or is it? Yeah. Full crew first. Then we eternalize. Power on the Chariot. And copy the Kenra. Power on the Chariot. And that's a GG's. Yep, good games, Yuna. Even though you kind of sneaked a 2 mana Wrath instead of a 4 like I expected, but you playing Omen Path Journey, and the lethal was pretty much on board. You only needed to take into account that we needed a 4/4 beforehand, so maybe treat the cards opponent. Good games. Dion Bahamut's Dominant. And we're gonna get the ramp tokens this turn. Or sorry, this game. So let's see how that pans out. Maybe we play the Signet first. Yeah, we play the Signet, then we hopefully play Chariot. And after the Chariot we play Peregrine with Cultivation Channeling. Ooh, so this is a counter spell? Okay, I thought that might be Reprieve or even Mana Tithe. But it's a Night token from Virtue of Loyalty. Knight of the White Orchid, they are getting some ramp going. Gambit a little bit and copy the monk token. Chooses to double block. We choose to save our chariot. If this is the on, then we get I guess Kogla. The Kogla kill, okay. Yep, good game. I guess they also were stuck on lands. Or maybe they just got salty about the killing of their first strikers. Either way. Good game, Sion. We hardly knew you. And I guess we're still in the course of new commanders because we are against Kefka. I don't like our odds. And again, we're on the draw, which seems to be happening a fair amount in this session. But obviously that means we're gonna get our 2 back. Okay, let's get Esika's Chariot. And hope our opponent doesn't have black mana in their hand. Or with that draw. Okay, Signet, so okay. That's not too bad for us. Croxa. So we should discard Surak. Maybe just the land. Nisa's Pilgrimage. Where to discard? Okay, we can play Surak and kill. Or actually, maybe we kill the clock and the Signet. Yeah, I like that plan. Bargain. Roaming Throne. So opponent is still in it. Cofronas. Yeah, I think discarding. Maybe. Who knows? They would still get the 5 mana and Kefka would be on play. So who knows? First we discard the triplets. Ooh, they only get the 1 card. Maybe they think we don't have artifacts because we're in green. So let's. Ooh, another just 1. What's going on? I'm passing bot. Just a little desync, I think. And now we just need, if we get a land, we can start the token train going, but I think we might want something better than just that. Okay, one target has 1/1. One becomes a 4/4. And they attack with everything. They finally get 2. And they almost have Oxophagonas. Well, not mana, cards in for escape. They do have enough for Croxa though, so maybe they go for that. Yeah, like I said, Kefka not much. Not really a balanced matchup against us, I think. Now, he's not like Helq maybe. I wouldn't say he's Helq worthy, but he definitely should be a couple of tiers above us. And we're not playing enough good cards so that we get paired against him. At least that's my opinion of Kefka as a commander. Search for discovery. So that means no Croxa this turn. Which honestly can be devastating for us with the boots. So Kefka, all he does now is allows. Okay, they can cycle. And they copy Kefka. Maybe they should copy Roaming Throne? I don't know. Rook surprising. So yeah, okay, I think we just cycle and see if we get something good here. Collective resistance. And harmonize. Should we let this go? Actually, maybe we should. No, because even then we don't have too much mana to do stuff. So yeah, I think there's not much we can do even if we play Harmonize. Draw 3 cards, but we only have 2 mana left. 3 maybe. We cannot deal with this board with that amount. So they're gonna be able to Croxa or Oxophagonas, and they have all their Kefkas. So yeah, good games. Good games. All Seed Mercenary. So what? Okay, that didn't show us much. Chromox. Okay, must be nice. Must be nice. Stoneforge Mystic. And they're gonna get the green. Sword of Forge and Frontier, I think. Oh, Shadow Spin instead. We play Emerald Medallion. They're gonna play Squall. Next turn they're gonna equip. And from that I think we need to find out what happens. Oh, it seems like... Okay, they still play those crows, their reliquary, and they get another equipment. So yeah, opponent's gonna bring back Stoneforge next turn. Oh, they didn't have the land though. Yeah, need to think that play better. I thought by playing the Chariot then we would have 4 mana, but I think it's best if we play it like this. Maybe? No, because they can give it to Trample. No, I was right. We need to get the big mana turn there. That's my bad. So here they're gonna get Stoneforge and a land. What can we do in retaliation? I think it's Nexus of Becoming, but we only have legendary stuff we can do for now. So I think if we get lucky and draw enchantment artifact removal, we get a copy of Queen, but okay. And then gets Mithril Coat. So yeah, they might be winning this, although they're not getting anything back. But yeah. Yeah, let's concede. They're gonna be getting the sword triggers, so we really needed artifact removal right there and then, so that we can kill the Shadow Spear. I think if we get the Shadow Spear, they no longer have trample, we can chomp block. So yeah, good games, Paul. In Squall, back to back, the rematch. Although it's another player, it's the same commander though. Cold Steel Heart on green. Rodo from opponent. We didn't get the land, so let's ramp like this. Sort of body and mind. So Frodo is a 4/4. They're gonna be making 2/2 and milling us for 10. Okay, flying and lifelink. So we make everywhere. We get Skullpar Nexus on. Yeah, I think we might be losing this one as well. Maybe if they mill Timeless Witness, then we could eternalize and hopefully get enchantment removal out of it. But opponent has milled half our library and not a single eternalized creature. So yeah, I guess that's it. We're not gonna delethal, and they have lethal on the backswing. We can reveal a card, but that's not gonna give them. They're gonna choose which one we get, and we wouldn't get the one that deals with Frodo, so good games. Garnet, Princess of Alexandria. Okay, she might be more our speed, but we are in fact on the draw without much to do for a couple of turns. And let me guess, a dork. Okay, no. So this is Garnet, and then they're gonna play maybe some Fenrir, maybe a Saga that throws them, well, that search for a plains. So they're gonna be stacking value early, and let's see if we can catch up. Or maybe you play something else here, opponent? Okay, no. Took their time and they played what we expected them. Some Weaver. Okay. That's gonna ram them for a bunch. And especially if they play sagas, they can play two mana sagas here. And then follow up with something that costs 3, either another saga or a constellation card. The hero or something or other. Citizen Champion. Okay. Oh, that doesn't work. How do you think, opponent? The follow load. Conda, exile target creature with mana value 4 or greater, so nothing here. And that's one of the better aspects when of playing a vehicle commander. If your opponent has sorcery spirit removal that only affects creatures, then yeah. But I guess that also happens with planeswalkers. Double lock. Oh, a ganjo on a token. So what to do here? If we play you, then we still have the 5 mana for Renan 7.
Simbayo, the entire forest is an army.
I think opponent got a little bit unlucky. Maybe, well, obviously they are not used to playing against vehicle commanders, so that was a misplayed on them, and let's see if that's enough to make us win here. Labyrinth of Scophos, they're probably not gonna activate it. They attack again, we're gonna double block again. And again, our tokens, mana value 0. So we're not too worried. Heroic Intervention. Opponent is just essentially spending their cards to gain life, which we don't mind since they are not, since their sagas are not getting them cards yet. Plus, get 2 lands. Here we play the Fool of Atuk. Offspring. I guess I should know at least one Offspring song off the top of my head, but I don't, so I cannot make that joke. And yeah, that gets us a card draw, a land, but our opponent doesn't know that. And maybe they should be the ones in the lower bracket. Maybe this is balanced, but by playing the fetch lands, which I don't think maybe you should play if you're playing Garnet, I think that's why they are against us. Or maybe they have better sagas, better cards overall. Sanctum Weaver definitely is one of the good ones, so they just got unlucky with their draw. Which is also a reason why you don't want to put half your deck of good cards and half bad cards. The matchmaker is gonna put you against decks with better cards or better commanders. And you're gonna be at a disadvantage if you don't draw your good cards. So that's something I always consider when making Brawl decks. So what's your final card? What could beat us here? Okay. Seems like they don't have it, so they concede. Good game, Garnet. Yeah, I think the best way to use Garnet is with sagas that give you some form of card advantage. And I guess this technically counts, but the fact that it's so niche that the opponent hasn't used it once against us, maybe it's not good enough. So yeah, bad luck, opponent.